Hello, and welcome to another Patreon mini painting video. This week my topic was given to me by my friend Sean, who wanted me to do The Life of Brian, Monty Python. I had said I was having a hankering to do some Monty Python, and he suggested Life of Brian, which is actually maybe my number 2 Monty Python movie. In terms of my favorites. This one has a bit of a soft spot in my heart, more for a musical connection, because it was produced in part by George Harrison of the Beatles, and the Monty Python guys wrote most of this script with Keith Moon from The Who before his untimely demise. And so it's kind of the height of Monty Python at their humor. They're kind of flying high after their Holy Grail endeavor, and Graham Chapman, who plays Brian, was finally a little more with it in terms of his life, and everyone was put on spot on performances. Terry Jones was Brian's mother, and also many other characters, of course, Monty Python, but also directed this one particularly. So it's a fine example of Monty Python doing their best. So when I was trying to decide what part of this movie, this part stood out to both Sean and I when we were talking about this, of just the funny ridiculousness of Brian is painting graffiti on this wall in Latin that says Romans go home, but of course he doesn't know how to write per se, and the Romans come over, and this Roman, played by John Cleese, who starts spell checking him and teaching him the proper way of writing in Latin, and is threatening him the entire time, and it's very funny, and just the color of this Roman armor and the floofiness of that helmet really were something that I was drawn to. And this was a night scene, so it was kind of a bit of a challenge. I wanted to avoid making everything so dark. I wanted the shadows to be stark, but the walls of these buildings are just white stone and spackle and sand, and it's not much color. So I made sure that the sky was a deep blue, and then just if nothing else, to jut that red of that armor forward. And then I slowly started building up those darker reds just to make that armor pop off the screen. And of course the other bit of red on the painting is the paintbrush on the wall, which the Roman soldier is using to force Brian to continue making graffiti all night on all of these walls. Or he'll, I don't remember what the punchline is at this point, but he would have an untimely demise if he didn't do the graffiti. What I also thought was funny is Brian is holding this sack that has his paint in it, and also it's a knitted bag, and so I thought it would be funny to just kind of have a few bits of red in that. Right now I'm working on the portrait a little bit of John Cleese, who has quite a face, that chin and those eyebrows. Definitely a caricature of, well, a strong-jawed man, and he pulled it off quite well in this outfit. So I was mentioning about the bag. So I left the bag, when I get to the bag, you'll notice that I keep the detail very minimal, and I just have some splashes of red as if the paint is somewhere in his bag, and he is dipping into the bag to paint and has gotten some on it. But it also kind of looks ridiculous, as if the Roman soldier has just done something horrible to this man and is bleeding on the wall. I know that's not the entire intention, but of course, couldn't help but at least do a slightly tongue-in-cheek thing for various Christian art of the times that may depict something of a certain Jewish entity standing aside or something like that. So I thought it was kind of just a bit of a funny, maybe not best taste joke. Hey, Monty Python. Monty Python can't be taken seriously. So I'm now working on Brian's face, and his expression was very. He was scared and pleading for his life and freaking out, and his chin is dead on to the camera at this point when I was the DVD when I was looking at it, and this pose, and it really did play to the pleading and the direness to his situation, but also that foreshortening of seeing somebody from the chin up, with the forehead being farthest back. You see areas like the underside of the nose more, and more of the upper eyelid, and much less of the lower eyelid. The foreshortening is always weird, and getting that likeness enough right so it looked like Graham Chapman was a bit of a challenge for this painting. Although I think it did end up working out okay in the end. So, playing with a lot of the pinks and pale purples of what would have been traditional Christianity-based art, looking at just religious motifs, which there are many in art history, and just kind of playing with some of those in Brian's face a little more than I would normally. I don't tend to use that many purples or violets in a person's portrait. But for this, it was a nighttime scene. Blue shadows seemed to work okay, and it kind of played with that. So this was a really fun one to paint. It was a lot of fun. I know that it made me want to rewatch all of my Monty Python, and I probably will when I have extra time. If you guys want to see more Monty Python or anything else, and you have an idea for another mini painting, subscribers of my Patreon channel can leave a suggestion below or on my Patreon's Discord server under suggestions. What do you guys think of these new videos? Working a little more with them, trying some things out. What do you like? What do you not like? Give me feedback. What else would you like to see? Thank you again for being subscribers, and until next time, have a good one.